Alright guys, we're on Rockhouse today, and this star represents the Rockhouse Braveheart Trailhead, which is down that way. It's right there, and let's see, should be 10 that goes that way, and it'll take you all the way out through here. But and up here, let's see, this is the Swingman Bridge. Take 21, which is this way, which we're gonna go up towards the swing bridge and come around on 21, and then we're gonna take 21 all the way on 22, which is the plan, Ward willing, and hit 45 or 25, whichever we decide. But then we're gonna take that 25 to this 26 and hit 41 and go on out 39, 38, well, maybe not. We might go out here and turn around and come back and go on 42, 26, and that way. So we might come that way, but we're gonna head up towards the swing bridge. And again, over here is the high school, Man High School. And over there's the trailhead. That's where we are right now. I just didn't start at the trailhead. I had a wide spot. And you can figure it out. That's where you got like a little shack. You can get your passes on the Rockhouse and for Braveheart and everything. So we're gonna map out this a little bit. This is Friday, July 17th or 18th. I don't remember. But I have to head back on Sunday, and it's supposed to rain later today, about noon. It is 8:40, so we'll see what we can get in today. Might not get a ride tomorrow. I may have to do some visiting before I go back. For me, it's kind of sad. I don't really want to go back, you know. It's always difficult for me on a personal note to come back and to leave. It's usually been the way it's always is. But it's just hard to stay here without proper economic security. If you know anything about southern West Virginia or in a whole, its economy is, well, very uncertain. So let's get on to the trail system and go for some riding. Now, before I go any further, to anyone that may be new, Rockhouse is going to have rougher trails in general, especially when you get to intermediate and most difficult than Braveheart. But you don't have to go on them. I don't think that I'll be going on them today. For a number of reasons, so we'll just probably stay on intermediate, so it's not as easy, you know. But I don't think that we'll be going on any most difficult. We might stop and do some walking off and stuff. It's not hot today, so I'm not exposed to the sun with the sunburn, and we'll look at maybe some of the most difficult. I don't know that we'll ride them. If they don't seem too bad, then we'll. So there's 17. That'll take you back to the ATV train bridge that goes across the Gandot River over to, I don't know, those lodges. It'll take you to downtown Man. Yeah, for some reason they don't want people riding on the paved road around the high school up to the trailhead on ATVs. They kind of made a pass around. I don't know the reason for that, but they did that. It goes from the train bridge where there used to be tracks there at the end of that South Man, and across there, and it's paved a little bit at first, and then it gets on a dirt road. And it has a dirt road that cuts down by the high school that goes over towards Braveheart, the new trail system. You go through that intersection red light that comes off like the highway, and you take a right at that intersection, past the little mall area. It's orangish, and you drive past a Speedway gas station, and you keep on going, and there's a Walgreens, and then you turn right over towards there should be a Hatfield McCoy trail sign. So anyways, let's get back to Rockhouse. This is trail 21. It may be a little wet today. I'm gonna try to get it in before there's any rain. I did bring a rain suit, but hopefully I don't have to use it. I'm on a 2025 Honda Rancher 420 FM1, which is foot shift, full-wheel drive, no power steering, no diff lock. I grew up here. If you haven't watched any of the other videos, born here, grew up riding in these mountains, primarily what people who aren't from here refer to as outlaw trails. So you can pretty much conclude that they're going to be more along the lines of most difficult, because they're not maintenance and they get very rough. There are some that's more like this, some it's even like the easy trails, the green trails, but trails that are more like the green and intermediate, the blue, are becoming less and less common, unless it's maintained by a gas well company or a mining company or a hunting club. They become very rough to ride. So I mean, they're more technical, but they do get to the point to where they become dangerous and really too impassable. Some machines can handle it better, just depends on a variety of things. But it's oftentimes strongly advised to stay on the trail system for a number of reasons. You know, you kind of maybe want to respect the locals' privacy, so they have places to ride and to hunt. You know, we grew up here. People have 70 years living here. A lot of memories here, you know. And people are friendly. People will offer to take you if you want to go, but, you know, if you do not drink, do not party, do not litter. That will cause problems. And that may make it to where they may pass some kind of regulation that if they catch you from out of town riding, they may ban it for everybody. And they can catch you. If any incidents happen that are bad, they may make new rules. Hey, if we catch you, you will be banned from the trails and you will be fined. You know, I mean, it could get to that point because, you know, that's the course of things. The outlaw trails are not regulated. So people say, oh, well, we can take us a cooler of beer, and which, you know, it's not advised to drink and drive any motor vehicle, whatever it is. You drink and drive, you go over a mountain, you know. But anyway, try to get this off my chest or just mention it. Those trails are going to be more risky. You're going to be in a place where somebody might not come along for some time unless they know that you're there. You may get turned around and lost, which is not as bad as if you're out in big sky country, you know, where you got hundreds of miles between you and any kind of civilization. Eventually, if you just head down to a valley and go out, you'll eventually run into somebody. So it's not too bad in that respect. But if it's in the summertime and you're out, you may run into things like rattlesnakes. You may come across a bear. As I've recorded numerous times, there are plenty of bear here. There are wild boar. And if you do come across wild boar, you're going to have a herd of them. And they are aggressive. More so than a bear. Unless it's a mother and her cubs. So that's something else to be aware of. But it's very less likely. But if you're up Buffalo Creek on those trails, the chance of you running into them around the town of Man is higher than a lot of other places. If you're up Buffalo Creek, because they are up there. I've not seen any real sign of them here. Doesn't mean they aren't, but I haven't seen any real sign of them on the Rockhouse Trail or Braveheart Trail. But bear, yes, there are plenty of bear here. But anyway, there's plenty of Hatfield McCoy trails. I mean, you should have your fill with them. They have most difficult, intermediate, but you know, some people don't find that to be enough. Me personally, I mean, I don't mind to ride up the Hatfield McCoy trails, and I'm a local. They're maintenance, they're easier to ride, they don't beat you to death. But other than hunting, there's not a lot of reason to, unless you just want to see something new. But there are things to be aware of. You know, people own property. Some of it belongs to the mines. Some of it belongs to hunting clubs. And, you know, if you get into a situation, you might get into a situation with a disgruntled property owner, and that, I mean, they may come out with a shotgun. You never know. It just depends on the individual. If it, you know, people may say, I'm tired of these riders coming in here. This is not part of the trail system. You know, you just have people like that. Anywhere you go in the country, I've been in every state, just about every major city. I used to drive a truck over the road, so I've been around. But, you know, I can't speak for everybody. Most people are generally pretty friendly and nice around here. You know, it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody. So they know if you're not from here. But you just got those people that aren't too fond of outsiders. But most people here are not like that, you know. You know, if they've had bad experience of outsiders riding off-road trails and leaving beer cans and all that stuff just laying around or whatever, yeah, they might be a little so tolerant, because they don't know who's riding out there. They may already think, hey, you know, these people aren't even really supposed to be here. So they probably are the type of people that don't respect, you know, people or laws or whatever. So they may go and confront them, but they may confront them with a gun, you know. And you just don't want to risk that. So that, in the negative respect, that's something that can occur. less likely to occur. Most likely you just have a security guard from a mine in a vehicle say, hey, this is mine property, or a hunting club people saying, hey, this is our property, you're not supposed to be here. And you know, it can be resolved with saying, okay, we're sorry, and turn around, you know, something like that. But if it's somebody's personal property, that can go either way. They might be angry, but they'll just say, well, from now on, no, this is private property, you know, or something like that. I mean, you know, there's plenty of reasons to not go, unless you have somebody that's sensible, that's from here, that says, hey, you know, I'll take you guys somewhere where you can ride without issues. You know, you might run into something like that, a respectable character. But so just be aware of that, and I'll kind of quit talking a little bit, and we'll just ride.